Sibilance.
Ooh, what is that?
I don't know. I saw it on Saturday Night Live one time.
Sibilance. Was that
Testing.
what it?
1, 2, sibilance. Sibilance. It was what's the guy's name? Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay.
So he was doing that, so I figured, like, well, that must be something, right?
That's got to be a real thing.
It's got to be something. And then they're talking about room note. Like something about the echo and something. Room note. Did you get room note? Sibilance. Sibilance. I was like, well, that's what I'm going to do from now on. So I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, my God. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Big V Mortgage Podcast. Today in the chair, actually in his chair, because I'm actually recording this remotely from his office. I'm sitting down with Mr. Robert Alvarado. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you taking time and actually letting me borrow some space to do a podcast.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Always welcome.
All right. So, Robert, you own the Alvarado law firm. Is that correct? Or you have a partner?
Yeah. Well, no, it's just me.
Okay.
It's me. It's a professional corporation, but haven't found a partner for the corporation yet. So it's a solo project right now.
Ooh. How's that going?
Oh, it's always going to be a solo project. Let me put it that way.
Right? Because I tell you what, one of my 12 listeners would have probably been starting to get real curious.
Like, hey, what's up?
If you had a business opportunity going on.
I'm the boss here, and my wife is the boss at home. So
there you go.
That's how the whole thing works out.
See, I'm glad you understand that dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
So few of us do. I learned it a long time ago. She's actually the boss. I do whatever she tells me.
Exactly.
I pretend like I wear the pants. I wear the pants in my family after she picks them out.
Well, hashtag attorney dude doesn't even wear the pants. I'm in shorts all the time.
That's right. I'm sitting here and you're rocking sneakers, shorts. You are not the average attorney dude.
Literally, yeah.
Dude, so tell us a little bit about the Alvarado Law Firm. I know the work you do for us. You guys, I mean, I see the signs up there. You got a multitude of things going on in here.
A little bit of everything. What we do is we're promoting everyone in the building, of course. So we have some realtors, we have some mortgage lenders,
sure,
and there's a couple of builders also. So everything in the building is real estate related. But Alvarado Law Firm is just an extension of what I had been doing a long time. I've been an attorney for about 26 years now, 27, and most of that's been real estate.
Right.
And when we started doing closings and became a fee office for one title company, now another one, we went ahead and incorporated. And we're a branch of a title company, basically, is we function as that. And that's our primary deal.
Gotcha. So for the listeners, you do real estate transactions as far as like the paperwork and the title fees. You're, like you said, a branch of a title company. What the hell is title? Like what is it? You know what I mean? Because I mean, a lot of people who are homeowners know that, that's the place I went to sign that mountain of paperwork.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But what do you guys do?
Well, the policy, a title policy, which is what you come to us for.
Sure.
Or a title company, any title company. What goes into that is they check the chain of title. Okay. They investigate the history of it, going back a certain amount of time, to make sure that there's nobody else that has a claim, nobody that might have a lien. If they find such things, they try to clear them up. If they can't, they ask you to try to clear it up before you sell it to the next person. And it's all just a guarantee that what you're getting is clean title.
So in other words, I go and buy a house tomorrow, and having used a title firm, I'm guaranteed that some dude's not going to show up and say, hey, I'm the actual owner of this property.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And our searches are based on what is of record with the county clerk. If there's something that's not of record, then it's not official. But if something does pop up that got missed, the whole point of having the title policy is it will cover your loss. So you file a claim, and God forbid that it comes to that, but you file a claim. I don't think I've
ever heard of that happening.
Not here.
Not here. I'm sure it has, right?
There you go. At XYZ, but not here.
Those bastards.
Exactly.
So you're protecting the future homeowner.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. And what, in God's name, being an awesome short-wearing, sneaker-rocking attorney drew you to that? You could be out #lawyer dude with billboards and dreadlocks and all that fun stuff.
Doing a Better Call Saul type of thing.
That's it, man. What pulled you into title? Like, how did you find your way into this practice?
Well, yeah, a little behind the scenes of Robert, the man.
Dude, and I gotta tell you, if you ever meet Robert, he is the coolest dude ever. I love hanging out with you when I'm in town.
Well, thank you.
Even though it's not very often, it's always like whenever we're doing an event, I'm like, "Is Robert going?" I asked Nancy, I swear to God, because it's like,
is he bringing cigars?
Dude, those ones you gave me for the holidays were amazing.
I'm glad you enjoyed them.
Oh my God.
There's more where that came from.
Ooh.
But getting back to the deal, yeah, I've done a little bit of everything. The law license allows me to do a number of things. In law school, there's you take your normal course load that everybody does the first year, then you can kind of specialize, if you want to call it that. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do, but I did want to come back to the Valley. Mm-hmm. So kind of what I was, angling at on those sides were either immigration law, maybe some criminal law, stuff like that. Did some of that. I was actually an assistant DA for a little while here in Hidalgo County. That was interesting. Boy,
I bet you were a popular guy.
Well, I was in the civil section. I won't get into the whole thing, but yeah, there's some heartbreaking stuff that we would see. It was interesting. It was fun to stand up every day and say, Your Honor, the state is present and ready. We got to do that. We carried a badge. It was fun. So I've done some of that. I did some immigration. I did a little bit of everything. It was my a very good friend, Greg Gottson, who worked at a credit union here in the Valley, La Jolla Credit Union, actually. And he was a he was a mortgage manager. Mm-hmm. And he asked me to do some closings. And that was, over 20 years ago. And the rest is history. I just really liked the real estate side of it. And here we are.
Really? Mm-hmm. So take me further back. Like, I mean, you're from the Valley,
summer
right?
of 1969.
I was born in a humble abode.
You could be like the jerk in the movie The Jerk.
Oh, dude, I swear that is one of the most classic intros ever. Like, just to have, oh my God, yeah, it was. I love that movie. That's one of those I could watch, and I have over and over and over. But no, I mean, you're from the Valley, right?
From the Valley, born and raised.
Born and raised in McAllen.
In McAllen, almost born in Kingsville. My parents were living in Kingsville. Came down for the weekend, and I was born here. During that little visit to the Valley. So, born and raised in McAllen. I'm a Catholic school brat. Yeah, went to Our Lady of Sorrows.
You guys had the most fun.
Well, I think so.
I grew up in Laredo, man. I remember we had our Catholic school. Was it a private Catholic school?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so you had the uniform and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Those were like the party schools.
Well, we don't.
I don't want to. I mean, I'm not trying to say it in a derogatory sense.
It's okay. The statute of limitations has run. We can discuss. We're good. We're good now.
Dude, there's some of that hashtag attorney lawyer dude.
Yeah, I'm literally wearing the cap. So
holla. So Catholic school boy. I'm assuming parents just hard workers. Just they're part of the reason. Were they the ones who kind of instilled your work ethic? Because, I mean, quite honestly, you guys are one of the hardest working title companies I've ever met.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I have to give credit to my crew. Before we even go back to the childhood stuff, Ricky Nojosa, Janetti Vara, Lydia Gatza, Manny Ceja. I mean, without them, this doesn't happen. None of this happens. So. Yeah. Rick is my escrow officer, and I've known him forever. He has a pedigree of going back to a couple different title companies. He started as a runner, went to examiner, went to escrow assistant, then an escrow officer, and now he's my office manager here. So he's my right-hand man. He runs everything.
Nice.
Talk to him first, and then if there's a problem, I show up.
Unless it's a podcast, then I get to go straight.
Then
I
get to
you up to be able to do all this fun stuff.
Exactly. But yeah, I came from. I guess you could say a line of educators. My dad has 3 masters.
Wow.
And he was a teacher, and my grandfather, who was born on this side of the border, I'm actually like third or maybe fourth generation Texan, which is weird for the Valley. He was also a teacher, and he actually was an ESL teacher. I'm talking back in the 30s.
Really?
That's my grandfather. On my mom's side, she was an LVN at the General Hospital, the old McAllen General Hospital downtown, and she was a neonatal, and she was also a training nurse, and they did classroom stuff. So, and her mom was also a linguistics teacher back in the day. So, it's like I was going to be a teacher, right? That's where I was headed.
That's what I'm starting to see. Is like, wait a minute, you got educators and nurses, and you decided to go to law school.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Did
you watch like The Shark or something growing up?
I had this crazy idea that law school meant easy money.
Oh.
Yeah. And
you thought you were going to be all Matlock in the Valley, huh?
Something. And no, it's not automatic.
Oh.
I have to get up in the morning.
I've heard the stories. I've known other people who were in legal, and they started off kind of like public defender and stuff. And one guy in particular, he was public defender. He was like, dude, it was like the hardest job I ever had.
Oh, it's tough.
Like I spent all this money on school. I come out, I'm barely scraping by, and I've got like caseload after caseload after caseload. Mm-hmm. Is that what you went through in the early days?
Yeah, some of it. I was on the prosecution side, and what made it tough, without getting into details.
Sure.
I've many.
No, please give me confidential information. No,
exactly.
I'm kidding.
The names.
Right. Docket number. Anyway.
As an example, though, just what kind of, I guess, what led me to have to leave was. In the civil section, we did everything from the juvenile stuff with truancy and like graffiti taggers and stuff like that, but also under our purview fell domestic abuse cases.
Oh.
And after so many, battered wives would come in and tell us their story, ask for a protective order, and that's our job to present that and get that done. Many times they'd come in. One of the secretaries would take him into a private room, take pictures of the evidence of bruises and whatnot, and I'm flashing back here.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
It's just it's kind of surreal to think that this is probably still going on. And while I was there, we set everything up, and we tell them, okay, well then be here tomorrow morning or the next day or whatever it is for the hearing, and we're gonna file a protective order against. Right. Your significant other or whoever it may have been, maybe another family member or whatever. And lo and behold, they show up and it's like, oh, it was just an accident. He was inebriated. He's found God. Whatever the story was, please don't continue. It being, the nature of the animal was we couldn't proceed unless they wanted to.
Right.
And there we are, and we know it's going to continue, but that was heartbreaking. So, yeah, it takes a special kind of person to do that and do it well. And right. I think I was taking it,
Yeah. I understand, man. God, wow. Okay. I didn't know that. See, I get to learn all this new stuff. Dang.
Real estate's a lot more fun.
Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Even though you have like these, I remember talking to you back during the holidays, and you were telling me about some crazy off-the-wall file you had just closed.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Which led to the great snowstorm/blizzard in McAllen, Texas.
I believe it was connected, yes. In fact, that was a... and it's funny you mentioned that, Bobby, because since that file...
You've had five more?
We've had a run of similar files, and what
this
is...
Get out of here.
No, these are the files. Remember, what we do as a title company is we check the chain of title.
Right.
We have to clean it up, make sure you get what you're trying to get. This particular file was involved people who had deceased and were still entitled, and there were wills, there were not wills, affidavits of heirship had to be done. Long story short, we needed 20-something signatures. We started at 22. We ended with 29, I believe.
Good Lord.
It was a lot of signatures that were required. People were scattered all over the country. But legally, they all had an interest in this property. So we had to account for it. And at the end of the day, we got it done. But since then, we've had a number. I mean, like not quite once a week, but boy, we've had a bunch of files where there's deceased people in the chain of title. So I wonder, did somebody just say, "Hey, take it to Robert. Robert can fix it," But here we are. Yeah, we have 2 working right now. There's 2 running at this moment.
So on that, and that goes into why you need to work with a title company, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, because again, 27 you said, or 29?
29 at the end.
29 signatures in order to deem it a clear chain? Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so had that deal closed without the 29 signatures, somebody could have came back and laid claim to that property.
Exactly.
Wow. And they're scattered. So what do they do in that? Like, what do you have to do in that? Like, I mean, obviously you got to contact the people who are on title, and they've got to do what? Sign a release?
What we have them signed is either quit claims or deeds over to the one person in the family who's taking charge of the whole thing. In rare cases, not in that case, but in some other cases, we've seen where we contact a long lost relative who has an interest in the property, and they're like, "Oh, I had an interest. I have a right. How much am I getting?" And then it becomes that, like, "Oh, well, yes, the property's up for sale, and now you want to cut, and we have to deal with that." We don't negotiate. We don't. It is very rare that I actually represent a client that we're closing. I try not to. I try to be neutral and just do the title company role.
Right.
But once in a while, somebody will come in and say, "Robert, I want to hire you to do that part, clean it, and then we'll close it." And in that case, well, yeah, then I have to explain why we need the signatures, and at that point, I might negotiate
a taste
stuff. Yeah, but wow, yeah,
you gotta get a taste, Robert. Robert, can I get a taste? I just want to wet my beak, dude. I had no idea. I've been in the. Here's the sad part, right? Some of these veteran loan officers who listen to this, or whatever, mortgage folks, are going to hear me say this and say, "Dude, really?" But I've been in the industry 17 years-ish, more or less, and I've been in a lot of title companies.
So you started at 10 years old.
Oh,
That's
don't
amazing.
Even start that crap, bro.
Wow.
Come on, baby. I'm that picture. I'm the aftershot of getting into the mortgage business or getting into sales that you see those memes on Facebook. It's like first day in sales, all happy, and then 4 days later, and he looks like he's aged 70 years. I'm the latter. So let's not even do that.
Okay.
No, but I've been in a lot of title companies, man, and I never ever had even remotely this close of an understanding as to what you guys do.
Well, I'm glad. And there's more to it, but that's the basic stuff. Just clearing the chain of title. There's so many people. I mean, we are the closers. When you come to the office, you sign up.
That sounds so cool.
Behind the scenes, you have examiners. You have all this administrative stuff. You got the policy people, and there's so much regulation. There's just so much regulation. And in 2015, with Frank Dodd and the new CFPB, and you guys know about all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
they switched up the game. They switched up the game again.
Yeah,
and maybe for the better. In
a lot of ways, they have.
We all hate change or whatever. We didn't like the 2010 HUD when that came out.
Sure.
But we adapt, we overcome. We're like Marines, and hey, it is what it is. But it's all there. It's all about taking care of the customer at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, but there's a lot, and it's a podcast for another day, I'm sure. But wow, if you could sit down with an examiner and just hear the stories of what they have to go through when things don't get recorded the right way, and like if an engineer was off by an inch on something, and it's a mile-long tract of land.
I've dealt with that.
Well,
I've dealt with where, actually, no, it wasn't the engineer. It was the surveyors. When the surveys have you ever had a survey be wrong?
Never. Never. Yeah. No.
I've had surveys be wrong, by up to 3 feet.
Okay, there you go.
Which doesn't sound like much, but come on.
3 feet wide, 1,000 feet.
Yeah,
of frontage
I had one,
or something.
And I won't go too far into detail, but basically, after everything was said and done, the owner of the neighboring property came over and said, "No, this is wrong. I don't even know how they got a hold of the survey, but you're encroached 3 feet on my property."
Oh boy.
And it was a huge ordeal. It got worked out, but it could have been like a major major issue. Again, nothing that I would have had any control over.
Right.
But because, not everybody was on point for that. You know what I mean? Anyway, the stories are endless. The stories are endless in regards to what we run into. But, wow. 29 signatures. Good Lord, child. Come on, man.
We usually average like 4 or 5 because it's like brother, sister,
sure,
maybe some grandkids. But on this particular file, it had the number, the GF, or GF stands for guarantee file. A little behind the scenes stuff.
There it is.
All title companies will have a GF, and this particular file had a series of 3 6s in the number.
What?
That's just by luck of luck of the draw. That's the GF that they came out with, and so yeah, we call it the demon file, but and it evolved into that, right? I can't give you more because now I'm
the apocalypse.
Yeah,
right?
I've said too much already, but yeah, it just we should have known.
We're gonna have to we're gonna have to burn some sage after this podcast. Man.
Do you smell sulfur?
Right?
Like what? The guys
What?
from Supernatural showed up and stuff.
What is that evil growling in the background? Get out!
Oh my goodness! Had to call it Ghostbusters.
Are you guys is it just the one office here in McAllen?
For us, yes.
Okay.
Our parent company, Valley Land Title.
Yeah,
we love them.
Yeah,
they got several branches. They've got Westlaco, McAllen, Edinburgh, Mission. We're an independent because we're a fee office.
Okay.
We function as a branch, but we're on our own schedule, so to speak. Case in point, they might be closed for one holiday. We open just because we know we have closings, and vice versa. They might be open on something and we close for Arbor Day because we love Earth, or I don't know. I'm just saying it's.
Dude, I'm gonna schedule a closing on Arbor Day.
There you go.
That's
Okay.
it. Earth Day, you're working, baby. I'm sorry.
Just don't do it on National Cheeseburger Day because we're all out.
No, that and Taco Day, those are off.
Well, hey,
limits.
no, that's yeah. Careful now. Careful.
Easy, gringo.
No, you're from Laredo. You're not a gringo. Oh.
See, I'm lucky though, man. I get to play both sides of the fence. When I went to go visit my family in North Carolina last summer, my wife was cracking up because she said, man, your accent changed once we got there.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah. Like you went into like a little southern draw. Like it was.
Talk to me. Yeah.
Yeah. She goes, but the second we kind of crossed the Mason-Dixon, you're right back to like Captain Latino or something like that. I was cracking up. But yeah, it's like, but even then, even when I get into that country boy mode, like, hey, y'all, oh, we're going to go on over there and we're going to have some breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, even my family from there still tells me, like, dude, you talk funny. I can't win for losing, man.
I got you. Do you ever do the South Texas shifting gears? Where you're talking in English, y de repente algo sale en español.
Claro que sí.
There you go.
You got to do it. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, dude, that's the worst part because I'll be talking to people in Austin, Texas, and I'll start throwing some Spanish into it out of just pure habit, and they'll like, hey, I don't know what that means, right? Like, sorry, bro. Yeah, my bad. Let me back it up. So it's not as bad as it used to be, man. When I first moved out of Laredo, the weird thing is Laredo is even more entrenched in Spanish than the Valley is.
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Like in Laredo, you could go to like a major department store and the sales rep did not speak English.
I believe it.
Back in the day, right? Like, oh, sí, anda buscando polo. Like, sí, like you had to be able to do it, right? Now it's not as much, but I remember moving from Laredo to the Valley and it was like, dude, so many more people are like... It's more, diverse, if you will.
I thought you were going to say metropolitan.
You guys are getting there now.
Okay.
I am so, dude, I'm so impressed with the growth going on here and the way you guys are expanding out with the arts center and your food scene here is getting really sexy.
It's ridiculous. That's why I am like I am.
Dude, it's getting so sexy here for food, for foodies. And, oh, man, yeah. Like, I actually, Yes, I love coming to McAllen. I love going to all my markets, but yeah, I always know when I go to McAllen, I got my spots.
There you go.
Like, I even graduated to the point where, because like I like going to, of course, Old Faithful, Santa Fe.
Hey, all right, there you go.
You know, but I've got my guy at Santa Fe now. So if I'm going to go eat there, I just text him like, hey, you working? Yep, cool. Put me on the table, and then he's my waiter for the night.
Nice.
Yes, dude. And he knows, you know, it's like, look, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to like this, you know. It's like,
stuff that may or may not be on the menu. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
It's legit, baby.
Yeah.
The few perks of travel.
There you go.
But you, tell me about you as far as what are your interests outside of saving the world one title policy at a time?
I like that. Saving the world one time. That's going on the website.
Right?
Wow.
We're putting that in the
We're
mission
making
statement.
shirts. We're making shirts.
Dude, hashtag lawyer, dude. Hashtag saving the world one title policy
I like
at
that.
a time. I'm going to start charging for these.
There you go. The royalties. Copyright Bob Shaw.
Holla.
And, geez. Well, I mean.
I know you're a cigar connoisseur.
I'm a cigar guy, yeah. Picked up that hobby not that long ago, really. People think I've been doing it longer than I have. But darn near opened up my own shop a couple of years ago.
Really?
That might be a side hustle in the future just because I'm that interested in it. But it's just it's a thing that you go do sometimes in a group, share, smoke, and talk. But for me, it's usually just at night before I go to bed, go smoke a cigar, hang out with the dogs. Yeah. I talk with them. Luckily, they don't talk back.
That would be weird.
That's not.
You would have to wonder what you're putting in that cigar.
Exactly. At that time. But yeah, it's an unwind, decompress type of thing for me.
Sure.
It's also something that you when you close a big deal or something, you celebrate with your friends, your realtors, the lenders, whoever it is. So it's a whole lifestyle type of thing. But love basketball. Big basketball fan. Season ticket to the local teams. Whenever we can, we sneak away to Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, catch those. And really, I'm a homebody. Really, don't go out much. Mm-hmm. My wife and I watch a lot of TV. Hang out. It's a good thing.
What you watching these days?
Oh, she'll binge watch stuff on Netflix. Everything from scary shows and Stranger Things, Supernatural, stuff like that, to other stuff. But I'm broadcast TV. I like your.
Oh, okay. You're watching The Bachelor.
No.
Come on now, I caught you.
I'll be honest. I'm plugging shows here for ABC. The Goldbergs. I like that because it's like takes me back to the '80s. I'm like, I was that little kid, hiding stuff in the locker, or whatever.
Here's the thing, though, man. And I guess it's because it's a TV show. Like when he dresses up, like when he creates those costumes, like when he was a Ghostbuster or something.
Yeah.
I could have only dreamed of being able to, you know what I mean? Like, there was no way I was going to be that creative at that age to do it. But, yeah, I love that show. The mom reminds me so much of other moms. Not my mom. My mom was awesome.
No.
But, yeah, man, the Goldbergs. The reason I ask is because, like, there's one, and again, I'll plug Netflix. I don't care.
There you go.
Ugly Delicious.
Wow, never heard of it.
Okay.
Now I got to go look at it.
Yes, go and watch Ugly Delicious. I just binge watched that one, and it's this chef's like a really big chef and a food writer out of New York. They travel around the world, and they're trying food that isn't necessarily like all pretty and stuff like that. Like it's just like, in other words, one of the episodes they do is on tacos.
Wow.
Yeah, but like they dig in from everything from like street vendors to the origin of the corn tortilla. Like, and it was just, that was really good. Then they did one where they actually went to Houston and did it on like crawfish and like because you know how like with New Orleans and Houston being, I guess, semi close together, you've got like a big crawfish thing. I mean, we hear about crawfish season every year. Down here too, right?
The Bayou Festival.
Okay, there you go. And so, like in Houston, though, they're taking it a step further, and they're starting to infuse it with like this Asian. I don't remember if it was Korean or something, but they're doing like some really creative stuff.
Sounds good to me.
It's delicious. Like, yeah, it makes me want to drive to Houston and go eat at this particular restaurant.
Let's go.
But it's good. Like, it's a cool show too. Like, it's interesting. So if you want to binge watch something, try Ugly Delicious.
Ugly Delicious. I'm putting it on the list.
And then, do you like wine?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so there's one, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Hulu that my wife just showed me, to where they travel all over the world trying different wines, but like they really dig into the wine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll open a bottle of wine, and my wife is not a big wine connoisseur. We will open a bottle of wine, each have a glass, and then that's it. So
what?
Yeah, we never finish even half a bottle of wine. To me, it's just because I'll pair it with a cigar, or because I heard something about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a drinker. I don't even drink beer. But the wine has interested in me. I know it's kind of like an adult.
Yeah.
It's an adult frivolity, I guess. But we have several bottles of wine, but we'll open one, and it's if we don't have somebody over to share it with.
Sacrilege.
I know, it is.
That's sacrilege.
I know.
So you don't have like scotch with your cigars either?
No, nothing heavy really.
You know, it's funny because like beer, obviously, you know, being when I was young, right? Like, yeah, I would drink beer all the way up until about, I guess, like a year ago. Really is when I kind of stepped away from beer. Because the older I get, like, you know, the more things show. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
And I'm not a small guy. And so, you know, wine has been one that for the last several years I've gotten more and more and more into. I love reds. Like, my wife is into the whites, but I'm really into the reds. And whiskey I haven't really gotten into, but you know what I've been trying to broaden my palate on? That's actually really good for you, I found out, was tequila.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I got people that swear by it. So.
Dude, if you do the research on tequila, it's one of the best forms of alcohol out there as far as like low calorie counts and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of really good things about it. And I'm not saying go out and drink the gold Cuervo stuff, sorry, until you pass out. But, you know, like if you drink like the really, like the good ones, right? And if you do it responsibly, like it's really, right. And so I've been playing around with that, trying to like kind of broaden my palate in that. Because, yeah, man, back in the 20s, back when I was 20 growing up in Laredo, it was just shots, you know. But now it's wine and tequila are my two kind of my things. The cigars, I've always loved cigars, but I've never taken the next step in really trying to understand the palate of it. Like, I have the ones that I love, right, that are kind of like my go-tos.
Okay. But
there's only two of them. So, you know, I've got so much to learn in that regard. But yeah, it's definitely like that cigar thing.
Well, you've come to the right place. The next podcast will be cigars.
That's what I'd love to
Con
do.
los tocayos.
We need to sit down and talk about cigars.
I'm telling you, I could do a whole podcast on cigar pairings with different kinds of coffee. Believe it or not.
With coffee?
Yeah. Now you mentioned something about scotch earlier. I will say that I kind of invented my own drink. And it is Nicaraguan coffee that I grind myself. I get it from a place. It's Nicaraguan coffee with heavy cream, not half and half, but actual heavy cream, and just a splash of Old Par Scotch, 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I call it the smooth closing. How about that?
The smooth closing.
There you go.
Dude, there's
your... Now that, with a Nicaraguan puro, oh, yeah. Or a Ramona y Olnes Especial. Oh, man, forget it. There you go. There's your Friday night.
Oh, Robert, we're going into business together.
We need to start this side hustle of having a little cigar shop.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We need to. And we'll do pairings on Friday nights. That'll be it. That'll be our happy hour.
Listen, look at this.
Now, if you're a wine guy, we're way off track here. This just became something else. But port wine or a sherry like a Oloroso.
Like a dessert one.
Yeah. That with a cigar.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It enhances the flavor of this because you'll have the smoke left over in your mouth, and then you're drinking the sweeter, brighter sherry type or port wine. Oh yeah, it's like candy. It's awesome. It's addictive.
Dude.
Says the guy who doesn't drink.
Dude, I drink. I tell you what, you can come up with the ideas, test them out on me.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you, like, dude, es puro.
There you go.
And that's when we'll know. That's how we'll grade our pairings.
There you go.
Si es puro, no es puro.
Yeah,
es puro. Anyway, dude, that's the follow-up episode. You heard it here, people. Not only that, you get to look forward to a future episode with Robert talking about cigars and pairings. This is going to be awesome.
And we'll talk some real estate in there also.
Well, I think you just have to be in the real estate business to be on this podcast.
Well, there you go.
See, it's not all about let's talk about the functions of the transaction. No, dude, that's boring. I'd rather talk about cigars.
Cool.
So, yes, the follow-up episode will be cigars.
At Pecan Lodge Barbecue in Dallas.
Oi!
On the patio over cigars and Pinot Noir.
Shit, we're taking it on the road, people. And also, dude, you have piqued my interest on this cigar lounge idea. I think it's something that is long overdue. Because I know, there's a small place, there's a little restaurant here that kind of has a little side bar thing with it, but I don't know if they've really captured the essence of what it could be.
There's several places. If you had time, I would take you. One is way fancier than it has to be, but it's very nice. That's where you take your important friends, guests, whatever. Another one is way laid back, but it's almost too laid back. There's the one that's been around forever. I'm not naming names because I'm not playing favorites. There's one that's been around forever, but it's not actually the experience of smoking. It's not a lounge. It's a bar with a walk-in humidor type of thing. And then there's some restaurants that have the little side nook thing. But yeah, my deal would be to have an actual cigar lounge, to go have a cigar, enjoy that experience, and have have it paired by someone who knows what they're talking about, so you can enjoy it even more.
Can you pair it with food though? You can't really, right? You can't
it's
really
tough.
do the finger. In other words, when you're doing wine, you can have cheese boards out or whatever. You can't really do it with cigars.
Yeah,
right?
it's tough because it throws it off, especially if you're. But there's some stuff there's some cigars in my humidor. You don't want to smoke them unless you've had something to eat. It's the nicotine is, or just the flavors are so strong that it's better if you have a little something to eat before. Dang. So, but that's a whole other side of it. But
dude, I'm okay. This podcast is getting a little long. Hey man, thank you for taking time to sit in the chair today, guy.
Very welcome. Thank you,
dude. #lawyer, dude. How can people find you? Don't give me your cell phone number, but if people wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
We live on email. All of us, all my crew, we answer emails 24 hours a day, just about. info@alvaradolegal.com.
Got it. info@alvaradolegal.com.
Yes, sir. And if you're in the area, 956-687-9700.
There you go. All right, everybody. You heard it here. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Big B Mortgage Podcast. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, leave some comments. Whatever you do, just stay social, people. Have a great one. See you next time.